G'day everyone and welcome to this week's edition of Punting Melbourne Style. As usual, the king of crypto. Happy Super Bowl day, Pots.
Happy Super Bowl day, Juppy. To me, it's a new thing. I've got the date of it wrong about 7 times for the last month, but here we are. It's finally gonna happen.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite days of the year. It's a pseudo. I saw it on Twitter. It's a pseudo public holiday. Half the people aren't working. This has always been a big day for sort of, and I've used this term probably, I'm getting a bit old, but my generation of the younger guys that do follow the US sport closely. It's their big day, and I'm looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to it for a few weeks.
Well, that's good.
Chance to get back down into Melbourne and catch up with a few blokes and watch the Super Bowl. I think this time last year I went up to Sydney and.
It is the first time you've been back in Melbourne in a while, so just tell the viewers how you've been. How's things going down in Bendigo?
I've been hot, Pots. There were 16 days in a row where it was 35 degrees or above. It's a different climate up there to what it is down here, but yeah, really, really enjoying it. No traffic, bit more laid back. Made plenty of new contacts up there. Enjoying it. Get out to the jockey club whenever they've got a meeting out there. Often go out and see Bernie and walk the track. Bernie does a huge job there at Bendigo with that track. Same with all the boys, but especially the guys in the country, Pots. You've seen it with Ballarat and what Dylan's got to deal with there, and then like these are the bigger country clubs, so like Lumpy Lumsden down there at Warrnambool, like those guys out in the bush do a huge job. Yeah. And even the volunteer, like the once a year clubs, they do a great job. Like you would have seen it when you've done your reviews of Camperdown, and we had Great Western last weekend. Like they're all staffed by volunteers to get those tracks up and running.
Absolutely, and the point that a good man Graham Hoy's made a lot on his Twitter is that they run an enormous amount of unofficial trials and jump outs on those courses, and it puts a lot of pressure on the track staff, and they don't get a lot of help. And those courses are funded, essentially by punters, by Racing Victoria, and I think it's very disappointing that a lot of those jump outs and unofficial trials happen without any access to them for the general public. A lot of Darren Weir's good horses will have trialled and jumped out recently at those type of venues, and no one's any the wiser.
Well, Weary said that last week. Like he probably takes in between 60 and 80 each Tuesday morning in one of these, especially the Western districts, but any one of these tracks, like I think last week it was Terang, they had a heap of Gallop, and Graham Hoy said that in his little preview that he did on Twitter, that if you got right out wide, it was not much good because that's where all the gallops are done. Yeah. So it's very different pots, and when you come back to the city and you see all the traffic and all that, it makes me glad that I don't have to go to bloody Cranbourne and Packen on my Friday nights anymore. I know that for a fact.
That is interesting. Anyway, the punt, mate, how's it been? Did we able to move your operation in a simple manner out there? You mentioned to me a few times that you had some internet dramas.
NBN's wonderful. They've done a wonderful job with it. Hats off to everyone involved with the NBN. I was lucky. I got compensated nearly $600 by Telstra. I had no NBN for 12 weeks.
So what did you do? How did you get?
I either sat at Macca's because they had free Wi-Fi.
On the Wi-Fi?
Yeah, or basically, and a few people, Natalie Hinkley, who I work with, she just hotspots a lot of it off the phone and just uses the internet off that. So I just got Telstra to move some of those gig from my home plan onto my phone, so I was able to sort of hotspot it through there. But it just meant that you couldn't do any of the normal databasing stuff that you would. It was just a nightmare because essentially for this game, if there was one thing that you can't do without, it's an internet connection, because in this day and age, everything's internet based, whether it's getting your form, whether it's your prices, whether it's doing the betting itself, you have to have a solid internet connection. But also, it gave me a bit of a time, because I was up there by myself, to completely review what I was doing, and I had a chat with you about it and scaled back what I was doing, and that's been very beneficial. So focusing on less stuff now, but grinding out good money out of it by doing it. So
well, that's good. So the punters that don't know, one of Juppy's key areas where he's really got an edge, because he knows it backwards and has a lot of background in it and goes to a lot of the games, is the women's basketball. So you stuck
that
in
was
that, and
a really,
that's
really
been
good season, yeah, and it helped being in Bendigo for that because, and with it being back on TV was another big one, so that helped. And then
the racing you brought back to pretty much just Saturdays.
Just Saturdays and just doing your stuff, which is plenty because that freed up the workload a bit.
Yeah.
And the women's footy's just kicked off and got a reasonable handle on that. The edge isn't as big as what I thought it was going to be, but there's still money to be made there. But it's not going to be like what the netball or the women's basketball would be.
Okay, so question without notice: who have you got favourite to win the AFLW flag?
I think there's 3 clear standout teams in the Bulldogs, Melbourne, and Carlton, and then everyone else is sort of in a bit of a ruck. Adelaide showed their deficiencies on the weekend without having Aaron Phillips, but she's the best player in the comp. And
what's that? Where's she gone?
She was injured, so she didn't play. So, that's the key difference to some of the mainstream sports. Is that with the mainstream sports, if you get a key injury, it makes a bit of a difference. But in these lesser sports, if you get a key injury, it's just completely changes everything. So just been chipping away doing that, and then.
Did you get involved in the Big Bash this season?
A little bit early doors. I found that it was still volatile in the first sort of half a dozen 10 matches, but then after that I dropped off a little bit, and I found that dragged on a lot. But there was still tons of liquidity. It didn't seem. I'm just sort of basing on what I see on Twitter from the guys that I follow. There didn't seem to be the excitement from the regular guys that are always betting and love an edge and will grind it out. They seem to have slowed up a little bit on it. I don't know whether they're all just going through rough patches or what the go was, but it was it slowed up. But and then just any meetings that are sort of out that I can get to within a couple of hours. I've been going to those on a Saturday. Clerking if I'm needed. So, but it's been funny. There hasn't been, even the run up to Christmas, some of those meetings probably weren't as big as what everyone thought they were going to be.
Right.
So it's been interesting, but it's an interesting time in the landscape betting wise, pods.
It is.
The value of Top Flux completely gone. Good on Top Sport. They've brought back best of the best. That helps.
That's worth talking about. So that sort of come out of left field, like with the for those punters that don't know, that I'm sure everyone does now, with the publicity that the John McGrath story's got.
Yeah.
Before, just a little side note on the John McGrath thing that I had. So I read that article, and the only thing that caught my eye, this is how we work, it's funny. So the whole article was whatever, who cares? But then I saw his account at William Hill is listed as John Wilson.
Yeah.
I thought, Steve Fletcher would probably find that interesting. It's okay for them to list a name under a dodgy name for their purposes, but if it's the other way around, they want people thrown in jail.
Correct. And not an uncommon occurrence. When I was in the Giants, that wouldn't have been an uncommon occurrence, especially for those, like, he'd be, for lack of a better term, a super VIP. Like, if he's got that much credit, he could basically do whatever he likes. Some of the stories in the old days, spots like I can.
So aliases are allowed, are they?
Well, I can remember there was potential problem gamblers that were then that's tightened up a lot. I'm talking, this was probably 10 or 15 years ago. But that doesn't surprise me at all. The only thing that surprised me there was they let him get that deep.
Well, the whole thing is the game's just shows never changed. Like, you go back to I've read all the Bill Waterhouse books, back to Peter Huxley. Every bet he had was under the name of Peter Hunter. Yeah. It's been happening forever. Yeah. Nothing's changed, except these days most of it's electronic rather than cash. But on the game goes. Anyway, so that's a side note. So what? So we've got the changes with the credit restrictions coming in this month. Yeah. So that the corporates will no longer be able to offer credit to electronic punters.
No, and the other part of that, Potts, was, so we got the removal of credit. We weren't going to get online in play, and we're barring offshore betting.
Right. Okay.
So not so much for the
So
racing.
if we have a bet with Pinnacle, we're going to get arrested, are we? Or?
Well, you'll need to go and see your friend in Hong Kong to open you up an account and get a proxy address and all the rigmarole that goes around that. Because I got the email from SBO that over the weekend saying no more.
Right.
And I'm waiting for the one from Pinnacle. You can't be far away, but it just shows how out of touch.
What is it? SPA?
SBA, one of the big Asian-facing bookies.
Right. Okay.
But they were good.
So they're cutting off their Australian clients.
Yeah, same as pretty much everyone else, and then because it was just in those rafter changes that they made as part of that. So the credit's been removed for the corporate bookies. The on-course bookies, as long as your turnover's under 30 million, you can still offer it.
Yeah, so that's a point we should know. The on-course bookies are going to be able to continue to offer credit, settling. Traditionally it's been the following Monday, but maybe some of them, they'll run a bit longer. But that could suit. That's possibly an avenue to see more money flowing back on course, Juppy.
Well, I can tell you how mine's set up. I deal with Awesome Bet, and I've got 1,000 credit, and once it gets to 1,000, either way we settle. Because I don't particularly want to be sending, especially if you have a chop out or just a chop out, I don't want to be sending them $45 or something on a Monday, and I don't want them sending me $45. It's just a waste of time. So some of them operate like that, some of them don't. You can often come to an arrangement with them, and also the thing that the sort of bit of a loophole is that with the partnerships, it's 30 million turnover per partner, I believe.
Okay.
So if you've got 3 or 4 partners in your bookmaking business, then it might be worth looking at getting a home office at the Victorian bookies down here can get and actually having a bit of a go, because you might be able to pick up some of those. And these are high value clients. These are the ones that the corporates don't want to lose and don't want to upset. I'd be surprised if the corporates aren't coming up with a workaround for it.
Well, I'd imagine. So, there's one particular booking in Sydney that I've worked with for a long time that rang me back in December and said, "Potts, when we get to February, we're going to have to turn the credit off. Not our choice, but that's the way it is." I said, "No, I totally understand." So that's the call I got, right? Now, I can imagine at the very same time that Daniel's ringing me, Tom Waterhouse is sitting in his office thinking, "Oh, I don't really want to ring John McGrath.
Yeah.
I don't want to ring any of our VIPs, I should say. What I'd rather do is ring some politician and try and get a loophole put in there for these type of clients." So I would imagine there'd be some very heavy lobbying going on,
or not just
trying to get around this,
or not just lobbying. How can we come up with
workaround?
Different deposit methods or whatever we can do to try and get around this, because
like I said, everything old is new again, Juppy.
Yeah.
How about the old? There's the account A.
Yeah.
Here's that's the old.
Yeah.
Here's the new. Here's the new.
Oh yeah. Well, here's account D.
Here's account D.
It's got 50,000 in it. Who knew? Away you go. But the hard part about it is, and it's the way these guys bet pots. They get on the chase. I can remember sitting in the office and Blake's ringing up looking for their 3rd and 4th credit extension for the afternoon.
Well, look, the point is, Juppy, and the punter should take note of this, take a step back and look at the big picture and understand exactly what's behind it all. The large corporate bookmakers want to have no cap on the losses of these type of punters, but they want to be able to cap on the other side.
Oh, yeah.
So punters that can get on a roll and win a lot, they want to restrict that and be careful there. But on the other side, the ones that can lose unlimited and get on the chase, they want that to be completely unrestricted.
Yeah.
So the lesson to learn there is to never fall into those traps.
No, it's a lot of these game pots is you got to learn how to lose, and once you learn how to lose, you master it. Because the people who don't learn how to lose are the chasers. They're the ones that just keep going and going and going, and that's not how you set it up. If you at the end of the day, everyone with half an idea plays a long game. You're not looking at whether you won or lost on Saturday, you're looking whether you won or lost over a 3-month period, 6-month period, 12-month period, longer. That's what you're worrying about. You're worrying about your edge and making sure that's going. And
totally, Juppy. I had a case like that on we got a new customer joined last Friday. We had some unfortunate things happen over the weekend. It started with Big Pat's Pontiac and Dwayne Dunn writing ancient history on Friday night, and then
hello, Dwayne.
Saturday was okay, and then yesterday at sale things just wouldn't fall for us. So anyway, and he was a bit unhappy with how he'd started off his subscription, and I wrote back to him, it's a brutal game. It's brutal, and there's nothing surer than having good runs and bad runs, and things are going to go for you sometimes, they're going to flow against you other times. So it's absolutely critical to have a method and a a set of patience and discipline
Yep.
to get you through all that, and to not react to it, and not get emotional, and just keep rolling on, and keep putting yourself in enough positions where the rub of the green has to find you eventually. So anyway,
that'll do us for part one, Pots. We will come back and we'll continue talking about the consolidation of the industry and what some of the other former guests of the show are doing.
Oh, that sounds good.
All right, we'll be back with part two shortly.